interested in a premium set of headlights and want a solid balance of features to bump up the function of your 2016 through 2023 Toyota Tacoma, these Morimoto XB Evo hybrid LED headlights with the black housing and clear lens is a great set to consider. Now, headlights are one of those parts that can really start to show its age over time with fogged lenses, UV damage, and just general wear. And a replacement set not only does a number for the appearance, but also the lighting performance that may have been hindered because of those issues. Now, this set is a great replacement and upgrade to those problems, increasing the lighting performance if you're currently struggling to see at night and adding a lot of sharp styling to the front end with the unique and crisp DRLs. Now, while it is a big change, it's also a very easy swap. So if you're looking for a hassle-free fitment and hassle-free install process with a plug-and-play setup, this will do the job. Now, these headlights have a lot to love about them, and starting with their appearance, they have a piano black inner housing with some finer details that add a lot of sportiness to the light, and they're covered up by a clear lens to allow both the dark look that you may prefer and the clear lighting performance compared to something like a smoke lens that would give you the look, but not the clear performance that this set will give you. Within the dark housing, there are two bi-LED projector lenses that make up the substantial increase in lighting performance. First and foremost, with being a highly efficient and high output LED for much more light compared to factory, but the projector lens helps with making that light uniform for clear and consistent visibility while you're driving on the street. Surrounding the driving lights, this features a unique running light bar that illuminates in a bright white color and has a slim and sharp appearance compared to a lot of other C-shaped style options. Now, while this has a uniform white appearance, the light bar also acts as an amber turn signal with a standard fade-off function, making the truck more noticeable when driving for safety and, of course, aesthetic reasons. These have a tough PPS plastic housing, being great when it comes to longevity and strength of the housing itself and resistance to high temperatures, and it's molded for a direct factory-like fit, so you can expect an easy swap here. Now, the lens on the front consists of a polycarbonate construction, being a tough plastic material that is impact resistant, and these ones specifically will be UV coated for this new and fresh appearance over time, resisting any yellowing or oxidation. Now, this set also comes with all of the required harnesses, adapters, and hardware needed for a complete plug-and-play install process. It does look a little bit intimidating because of all of the wires on the table, but it is very simple, and we'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Now, this set here is about $1,400, and while it is more of a premium choice in the category, it does save a few bucks compared to the highest priced options and even Morimoto's non-hybrid option. Now, with that being said, this has some killer technology with the bi-LED optics and takes its own unique style to the light in the running bar, making them stand out compared to other choices in the category, especially when it comes to style. Now, while it may not include some of the features of the other Morimoto option, like the customizable DRL and added defrost features, to name a few, this set is great if you don't need some of those fancier features and want a balance between the quality of the construction and the features of the headlight itself and the price point. Install here is a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and is completely plug and play. It really should only take about an hour or so to complete this. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to one of our installers here. They're going to show you a detailed breakdown on how you can get these bolted up to your Tacoma at home. So that wraps it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, clip remover tool, plastic pry tool, and a 10mm socket. Today we're installing headlights on our Tacoma. First, we're going to watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove your factory headlights, and then I'll meet you back here for the install.
So our first step is to start with the hood open, and then we can go ahead and pop off our grille. For that, you're going to need a trim removal tool or a flathead screwdriver, as well as a 10mm socket. So our first step to removing our grille is to remove the 2 bolts that are holding it in up at the front support here. I'm going to use a 10mm socket and go ahead and remove those. Next, in order to release our grille, there are 2 clips on either side. I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver to release those clips. Again, you could also use a trim removal tool for this. What we can do now for our grill is pull up on these two brackets here just to release it from this front support. Then we can give it a good pull back and we'll be able to release the grill. In order to access the third bolt on our headlight, what we have to do is peel our fender back. There are a couple clips in here, but what I'm gonna do first is remove these two bolts that are holding our fender and our bumper onto our Tacoma. I'm gonna be using a 10mm socket. Now once those are released, we'll have a couple clips here. Now one down at the bottom is already released because we've taken the fenders off before, but there's one in the middle. Just gonna use my flathead screwdriver very carefully. You can also again use a pry tool. Just gonna push down on that clip and carefully pull back. So now that is loose, so we're able to continue to disconnect our bumper. We're not going to remove the bumper fully, we just need to move it down so we can access a bolt in this crease. So this clip up at the front is holding on part of our bumper, so I'm going to use a trim removal tool and just pull that out. So after all of the bolts and clips are disconnected from the side and some of the bottom between the bumper and your inner wheel well, what we're going to do is focus up here. We're going to pull back on the bumper part of this tab. Give it a good tug, and that should release it from the bumper clip on the other side. Might be helpful at this point to use a pry tool as well. Let's work our way up the side and release the bumper from the bracket. And as you can tell, we don't need to take the bumper off completely. It's still secured at the front, but there is a bolt in here that is going to release our headlight. So with the 10mm socket, I'm going to start by removing that bolt that we just exposed. Right, then we can move up to the top of our headlight to release the other two bolts. Then we can remove the two bolts up on top. They are also going to be 10mm bolts. Use the 10mm socket. So I am going to remove this clip at the side of our bumper just to pull the bumper a little bit more outwards. Give myself some room to wiggle this headlight out. We do have to slide the clip part of the headlight out. Right? So once the headlight is released, what we can do is expose our wires and start to disconnect our wiring harnesses. You're gonna have 5 in total on the back. Right? And then we can fully remove our headlight.
So now that we have our factory headlights removed, I'm going to start by installing our adapter harness. Now we've got 3 different ones included in this kit, so you just need to pick the one that matches up to the connectors on the car. Now we have 5 connectors that go to the back of our factory headlight. This one has 6 connectors because there's one for the resistor, so this is the right harness. So now we're just going to go in, match up each plug with the connector and plug them in. Now we have 2 connectors that are pretty similar. This green one has 1 slot and this yellow has a slot on each side, and that corresponds over here. Those are the only 2 that aren't blatantly obvious where they go. And then our last connector is going to be for our resistor. So connect that, and then you've got a magnet on the back. So I'm just going to get it out of the way up by the washer bottle. And then we'll grab our 1 connector, grab our headlight, and get that plugged in. So now we're just going to connect that 1 connector on the back of our headlight, and then press in the red locking tab. And then we can maneuver this into place. So now we're going to reinstall those 2 bolts at the top of our headlight. And then we've got the 1 push clip at this bottom corner. Take a 10mm socket, tighten down these 2, and then we'll get the one on the side. Now come down to the side and thread in your side bolt. And then you can tighten that down with a 10mm socket as well. And then with that in place, lift your bumper up, pop the clips back in, and then you can align the clips in your flare as well. And pop that back into place. Now we'll come down and reinstall our bolt. And I've also got one down here that we're missing. Take a 10mm socket for both of those. Then you can repeat that process on the other side. Now we can take our grill, line it up, and press it into place. And now we just have our push clip on each side. And then we've got 2 bolts in the middle. Take a 10mm socket, tighten them both down. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Morimoto XB Evo Hybrid LED headlights with black housing and clear lens for your 2016 and newer Tacoma. Thank you for watching, and for all things Tacoma, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.